Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hands boys and girls, zvakaperera teaching all level. Kanata kuma A level tama ladies and gentlemen. So I'm Ivan Zingorima, as they said. Some of you here know the industry who AIDS counseling trust in nine. Kana kambondona before. I'm sad message. Nice, it's okay. The good thing is Manduona Nasanti. I'm coming from an organization called Safety and Us Trust. Safety and Us Trust is an organization that deals with the root causes of all forms of violence. All forms of violence. What types of violence that we know? Yeah, the types of violence that we all know. We have said Safety and Us is an organization that is mainly focusing on tackling the root causes of all forms of violence, right? And my question to you is, what form of violence that you can tell us you are able to know? Physical abuse, yes, it's actually another form of violence that Safety and Us also focuses on. Another type of violence, and okay, the other types of violence that we also look at Safety and Us is sexual abuse, emotional abuse, and neglect. We also major, or our primary focus as an organization is online violence. Why online violence? Because the world, as you can see it, has changed drastically. All of a sudden, when COVID-19, the world is suddenly changed. We are now operating online. Isn't it? How many of you have phones? How many of you managed to come in contact with a technological gadget? A computer, iPad, phone, etc. How many of you have managed to come up with such technological gadgets? Almost everyone, right? Yes. Right. The good thing is with technology, we have managed to see a lot coming out, and technology has managed to improve even our intelligence, because I can see there are a lot of laptops here, which when you want to do your research or you want to further your studies after some lessons, you then go to your laptop and Google some stuff for your schoolwork, and then maybe I find some answers for certain questions, and that is the way of the internet, associated or accompanied by the use of technological gadgets that we have, computers, phones, you name it. It is good, and we shall decide technological gadgets. It is good, and yes, it is good, but we ought to also look at the dangers that are associated with using such technological gadgets. What are the dangers associated with using technology? if I may ask? The dangers or the side effects of using technology, to do some of your work. Okay. Sorry? You may be fed with the wrong information. I would like to give you our mask. A safety and us mask for that answer. Let's clap hands for it. Yes, you will be fed with the wrong information just because you are using a technological gadget. You'll be fed with the wrong information. Why? Because not everything that you find on the internet is true. If you want me to maybe clarify on that, when you do your studies, right, and refer to the internet, maybe it's you are now form 6, form 5, and so I believe some of these questions you would have maybe you would have come across them when you were doing your studies, or your teacher somehow said them out to you and say you should answer them as part of your homework, right? During my time as an upper 6 student, there was a teacher, and I did this history. I can't go name a person, so and I shy out. Answer. He said a rational reaction to the superstitious teachings of the spirit mediums. Discuss this in relation to the uprising of the Shona people in Zimbabwe. A rational reaction to the superstitious teachings of the spirit mediums. Discuss this in relation to the Shona uprising in Zimbabwe. You know the Shona uprising in Zimbabwe, right? Who history? What those are with the spirit mediums. Like he was saying, the Shona were now responding to those superstitious teachings. My spirit mediums. Yes, that person was saying it's because of those teachings that Mashona Gabatanga Peter uprising against the British. Discuss. So what about that? Question accept and we won. Kwa internet. To Google, one. As Pano Buddha, some related answers. And so ukaenda pa internet search your question. Pano Buddha, some related answers that you should choose from. So by you know right, you choose what this is right, this is wrong. And Mazona. So the internet is everything that you want to see. But on the same note, you would end up, if you are not careful or if you don't know your things, you will end up being fed wrong information. This is the answer we get out of. So, in as far as we are using the technological gadget that we have, we also have to know or to bear in mind that there are some information, there is some information that you can get from there which is not true and which you need to get rid of. What are the other dangers that are associated with using technological gadgets? And you are fed with the wrong information. Who else has an answer to that?
Addiction.
Sorry?
Addiction.
You can get addicted to that. You said you all have phones, right? You said you all have phones, right? And on those phones there's an application called WhatsApp and Facebook. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, just to name a few, right? Excitement, so by texting someone, and this is what text you. By texting someone, panic excitement, don't know, so that excitement in chemical forms, we call it dopamine. Yes, texting someone creates in you a chemical reaction called dopamine. What is dopamine? It's the same reaction, you know, it's excitement here, right? You put the text tina shamwa, the text tinai. If you are on WhatsApp, one tick, here it a message you are sending. It creates a certain level of excitement. So, because of the double tick, where's blue tick, where's is type where's am I like? Those was waiting and I don't try to solve one more. Yes. So texting, using those social media platforms creates in us a chemical reaction called dopamine, right? Which creates some excitement in us, and it, to the extent that that dopamine chemical reaction is the same thing that causes us to be addicted to our phones. Addicted to the extent that unogona so uchichaga phone rather than uchaga tindamutsa ere mama kuti mamukase kana kuti unogara nayo tindamukase kana mukadzi wako tindamukase unongomunga uchitora phone pasi pepilo kana pa side bed table and start texting for that dopamine kuti ingokupa so that excitement. That's the addiction. Kana uchiona ushigara for more than 30 minutes wakatarisa machats, so usina wakutextira uchingo browser through machats is called addiction. Awona uri kutextira but you are busy uri browser. Who are you talking to? That's called addiction. 30 minutes you are there pafoni yako urikuerenga nema message yakasotumirwa kudhara hapana kutextina, urikuerenga ma messages apita akakutumira message kudhara, ameri uyawe akakutumira message kudhara, just to seek for that dopamine, that excitement. And it must be, it's called addiction. That's the side effect of using technological gadgets. And then another addiction, another danger that is associated with using technological gadgets, especially going on social media, is that you meet strangers. How many of us have been greeted by a stranger? Someone who also was you. I was kind of How many of us have received a hi on Facebook, a hi on Instagram, a direct message, and I will DM you. I will DM plus 44 are where the number I also set my number I got to really already. I'm where I'm going to text you. WhatsApp. Do you know when we do our social media, what? There is a link that is created, just like with the WhatsApp group link. Yeah. Ndio inongoita kuti munhu ari kunzogwa sinene zvako unongozoerekana ngokuti ndei message yapinda pafoni pako. It's that social media link between my social media accounts that necessitates kuti someone ari kunzo akwanise kutextira iwe. what do you do kana such a stranger akumureza chimondudzeyo kunyendeza ndoda hangu ari honest kana muri kutya vati vabude tisarete timbonyatsotaura. How many of us have responded to strangers in here? How many of us have responded? If you have responded, how have you responded? A high day. Akatuzonze haiga, it's even worse. Hello, how are you? Nesita wakutomusendera paatombokusiya. This is where online violence emanates from. How many of us have heard of stories here in Zimbabwe, here in Harare, of certain ladies who have been abused because of social media? You have heard a lot, and deep into such stories, and let me come back to you. Do you? I can see my computer as in my accounts. You are busy studying, maybe with even your phone. You are busy studying. Then muno crash happen. Online lesson questions so. Then your crush suddenly says hi. Crush yako yaurikunyatsodzwa kuti uyu kopa yako kuti hai it's too funny. And suddenly the tone of the language yako yobva yachinja. Waifungoti wakangwara wakanaka stereo. Ndo violence atikutaura nezvayo. Ndo violence atikutaura nezvayo anditi. Iyo yatanga iri kuna crash. And yatanga iri kuna crash wako. Kuzopedzisira crash iyoyo pakuudzwa kuti saka iwe waifungoti wakangwara here. Ndazodziona namba dzako. Kati wadziona kupi iwe uchiri mumweya wecrash. Saka iwe wadziona kupi I have my resources or my sources. Ndakadziwana. Ndosaka wakadhafuka. Ndosaka wakaonda mustiko wemachisi. Ndokwadziri kutangira nawo. Unoita sei? Chimbondodzero. Unoita sei? zvamunoita chaizvo pana crash wako hamuchadika kutaura crash yakutuka because atoburitsa one of the answers dzandangandichida akuritsa answer yekuti unoluza concentration and that's the other danger. Instead of focusing now on your studies, you'll be forced to lose or to focus on someone arikukutuka nezvako online. Ndizvoka wakutoluza concentration. Ipapo ndo panotanga life yako kutoita upside down ipapo. Because the next thing chauchatanga kufunga ndechekuti saka this is how the whole community views me. Kuti ndinofamba nebheza rinoita kunge riri pachitsiko. Saka ina kusimba uye zvakaita wako. Saka ndasimbisa here steering. So this is how everyone sees me. Ndizvoka. Kana waluza concentration yako on your studies, it then builds up to low self-esteem. Usisina neconfidence. Paunori kufamba pepe uchitonge museleba nditi hazvichakwanisiki because wabviswa that confidence yayo nemunhu arikuudza mashoko asina kunaka online. Ndizvoka. This is how our gadgets becomes poison to us. Then as a result, wakuproduce results ekuchikoro asina kumira zvakanaka. Vabereki votoshamisika. Hey mwanangu, zvangombori number 1. Ko kuma number 32 wakutsvagei. Again, kukudzai my personal experience. When I was young, ndaipiwa zvese nevabereki. Zvekudaro kupiwa zvese. Chikafu, uniform, mari, what. So I was fit. I'm not talking about people who are in movement. I was fit at that time. That's a personal experience. And sakani nguva yedu manje kwakuine tumwe tumasongs twaimbirwa vanhu vanenge vari fit. Ndaukanganwa the exact words, but zvaizonzanzi ndiri kupedzera vamwe vanhu chikafu kumakwemisa. To the extent that at that time I was around grade 5, grade 6, and I was doing my number 1 and 2. Number 1, 2. Tatina mumskana ndaikubidzana naye so 1, 2, 1, 2 every time. Pazvakatanga izvozvo pandakazozviziva ndo zvandiri kuitwa panapa akatombondidaro kwekutanga kangatori friend yangu cheche. Anzi uyu ngamboenda mumakwavo andotya steri. Bva ndatanga kuchidzinganisana nefriend yangu. Iwewe wanditi ndinodyisa steri. Time yose kupira ndiri kumhanzana nevanhu vese vari kundituka. Sei muri kundituka, sei muri kundidai so. Time yangu yose yakuperera kudzimbisana nevanhu kuchikoro instead of study. Saka at the end ndakabva ndatanga kuita manamba 32 andanga ndichitaura 32 number yeye ndatoitaura because it was mine at that time. I owned it. And ndikatoona munhu aiita number 32 ndikaita number 33 kana 34 ndaitochema kuti anditorera number 32 yavo. Was it became something like a norm. Ndinofanira kunge ndiri number 32 just because ndinofanira kuramba ndichidzikisana nevana. nditi kuti ndaino kutoti munhu uya ari kutoti tukoweya ane zvakewo zvinenge zvitomunetsawo pamwe kumba kwawo kutori nonzara asi kuchiva kwedu kuti kune zvinhu zvese antimazvona until I met my teacher at grade 7 yakazonditi naye kunonetsekereiko nezvekutaurwa nanatandiwe kunzi iwe unotyisa kumba kwenyu chiripo kachikafu chacho saka iwe uchidya ivo kwavo hakutorina ndosaka iye vasiri kudya saka focus on your studies. Then I started going back kwavari ndichiti saka imimi kumba kwenyu ndokusina chikafu ini kwedu chiriko ndosaka ndichiuya nechikafu changu ichi. I started focusing on myself, creating something like an image so yandinoda